Hi you guys. So in this video we're going to begin our introduction into compound inequalities. Okay, and compound inequalities are when we take two inequalities and we join them together. And there's two ways we do that. We could do it with the word and we could do it with the word or. Alright, so let's take a look at these two just very simple examples right here. Anytime, there's going to be a couple times in this video, remember to pause it, copy stuff down, and then you can press play and keep listening. Okay, so first, in the OR problem, it says x is greater than 10 or x is less than or equal to 5. So in this simple one, we're going to put those two numbers on the number line. All right, and it says x is greater than 10. So I'll put an open circle at 10, and I'll shade to the right because I want numbers that are bigger than 10. X is greater than 10. And then for the 5 part, x is less than or equal to 5. I'll do a filled in circle because it's or equal to, and then I want numbers less than 5, so I shade to the left. So that's an example of one type of OR graph. Okay. Then for this AND problem, let's think about this. This says I need numbers x that are bigger than or equal to 1 and less than 9. So if you think about AND, it means both of these things have to work. It has to be bigger than or equal to 1, and it has to be less than 9. So when I put those two numbers on the number line, 1 and 9, okay, for here I'll take greater than or equal to 1, means I'll put a circle in there. All right, greater than means I would shade to the right. Then for 9, x is less than 9, it'd be an open circle at 9, and it would be shading to the left. So I end up shading the whole middle area. Okay. Because the word and is there, it means like 10 shouldn't be shaded because 10 is not both bigger than 1 and smaller than 9. That's why we only shade in between there. Okay? On this next couple pages, we're going to really discover why that's the case. And the way we're going to really do this is to make a truth table. Okay? The next two truth tables we're going to make, one on this slide, one on the next one, are they're more robust. There's got more to them than eventually what we'll get to. We'll start making simpler truth tables in a little bit, but right now these first two examples we're going to do a little bit more of a complicated truth table to make sure we see the whole picture. Okay, so for an OR problem, that's what this first one is, right? For an OR problem, we need to make at least one true statement. Okay, so if I look at this whole thing here, x is greater than 10 or x is less than or equal to 5. I look at that whole thing, I need to make one of those true in order for the whole statement to be true. And if you think about it, if I said, think of a number but that is greater than 10 or it's less than or equal to 5, I could pick 11. Or I could pick 4. And both of those would work. Okay? So when I'm filling out the truth table, okay, I need to start with a number line because the number line helps me visualize what's happening here. And on the number line, I put 5 and 10 because those are my two main numbers. Right? For my truth table, I'm going to pick a number in each section. So the first section is to the left of 5, so I'll pick 4. Okay. Then I pick 5 because that's my critical number. Then I pick something in between 5 and 10, let's say 7. Doesn't matter, any of those numbers would work. Then I need 10. And finally, I need something bigger than 10, so 11. Okay, 11. All right. Notice we have to put 5 and 10 on there. All right, we have to put 5 and 10 because those are our tick mark values. The tick mark values are included. Okay, so I'm going to mark down in my truth table if 4 makes this first statement true or false. Okay, the first statement is x is greater than 10. So is 4 greater than 10? I imagine putting that in there. 4 greater than 10. You don't have to write it down, but that's what you have to be thinking of. Is 4 greater than 10? No, that's false. It's crazy. That's false. Okay, so I'm going to put F for false. And we go down the line here. We do that all for this one. 5 is not greater than 10. That's false. 7 is not greater than 10. That's false. 10. Is 10 greater than 10? No, 10 is 10. 10 is not greater than 10, so that's false. But 11 is. 11 is greater than 10. So finally I get one that's true. Then we're going to do the same thing with x is less than or equal to 5. Okay, so first I start with 4 and I plug it in. 4 is less than or equal to 5. That's true. Okay, so that section is true. True. And then I do 5. 5 is less than or equal to 5. That's true, because it's or equal to. 7. 7 is not less than 5. False. 10 is not less than 5. False. 11 is not less than 5. So that's false. Okay? All right, so now to find my final truth value, this last column, this is what matters, right? I need to make at least one true statement. Okay? So then I look at my each row here. For 4, I had a true statement, so my truth value is true. Okay? In that line here, I had a true statement, so it's true. For 5, I have a true statement, so that's true. Okay, 7, false, false. So I did not get at least one true statement, so that's false. 10 was false, false. So that's also, I did not get at least one true statement, so my final truth value is false. And then 11, true, false. So I do have one true statement, so my truth value is true. Okay? So what we're finally going to do here is we're going to transfer these truth values to the number line. Okay? So when I transfer those truth values to the number line, for 4, above the section with 4, I'm going to write true. For 5, I'm going to write true. For the section that has 7, I'm going to write false, because that's what my truth table says. For 10, I'm going to write false. And for 11, I'm going to write true. All right, and here's the best part. This tells us where to shade. Okay, so anywhere I get a true, I shade. If it's at a tick mark, I make it a filled in circle. And if it's a section, I just shade that section. So false in the middle, false at 10, so I do the open circle, and then I shade to the right of 10 there. Okay, so I know that was a long process. We're going to try one more. It'll go faster. All right, for an and problem. Now, the difference between an and or is that an and problem needs both statements to be true. So let's try to go a little faster here. We're going to make a number line. I'm going to put 1 and 9 on it. Okay, now I need a number from each section. Left, tick mark, middle, tick mark, right. So those numbers that I'm going to choose for my truth table are 0, 1, anything between 1 and 9, so maybe I'll go with 5, 9, and 10. Okay, so I use those. So now I'm going to test each of these statements. X is bigger than or equal to 1. So 0 is bigger than or equal to 1. False. 1 is bigger than or equal to 1. True. 5, true. Oh, look at all these. Look at this. Each one of these is now bigger than or equal to 1. So I know I'm going to have trues all the rest of the way down here. So true, true. Now let's look at x is smaller than 9. So any of these numbers that I plug in, if they're smaller than 9, I'm going to get a true. So 0 is smaller than 9, 1 is smaller than 9, 5 is smaller than 9, 9 is not smaller than 9. So there's my first false, and 10 is not smaller than 9. So that's false. Okay. For an and statement, I need both to be true. So I look. For 0, it's false, true. They're not both true, so that's false. 1, true, true. So I get true there. 5, true, 2. True, true. So I get true there. And the rest of these are both true, false, true, false. So my final truth values there are false and false. Okay? Again, ultimately what I'm looking for is my final truth value. Those values I get to put on my number line. So for 0, it's false. For 1, it's true. For 5, it's true. For 9, it's false. And for 10, it's false. Okay. The true tick mark, I put a filled in circle. The false tick mark, I put an open circle. And then my only true section is the middle where I shade. Okay, and that's how I get this graph in the middle here. Okay, so I know it seems like a lot of work, But when we start to get more comfortable with these, we'll actually do the middle parts of the truth table in our head. So we'll just do the column with the x's and then the column with the final truth values. And it really helps us get the correct shading down. All right, thank you for watching and have a nice day.